Okay, good afternoon, everyone. This is Iedm group, where Iedm indicate Instacart eternal decision maker. To start with, the major content include project abstract, AWS Lambda implication, and Snowflake dbt Cloud and SageMaker for user preference prediction, GitHub for CI/CD, Tableau for data analysis and visualization, DynamoDB for user preference result storage, and a little bit about future steps. And our projects focus on two parts: a business analysis part for internal stakeholder, where the output will finalize at Tableau, providing graphs for business analysis. We thought about making it a dashboard that can be automatically updated. The other part is preference prediction, which will store the prediction result in DynamoDB. This will allow the website to access users' preference prediction as soon as users logging into the website. And to start with, we make the hypothesis that our data will come from a S3 bucket. So we directly use a Lambda function to transfer to another S3 bucket that owned by our department, and then upload to the Snowflake. The first part is the AWS Lambda function for data ingestion. We use event trigger with S3 to trigger the Lambda function and then put it into our data warehouse. This was directly deployed on the AWS, and we are thinking about using a local development method with the AWS SAM, which in the right side is the field tree. Currently, we are still working on getting it done locally and then deploy it on the AWS through GitHub, and it is a hard part, and we are not finished yet on this one. And this is the Snowflake part. To begin with, we upload the data to S3 bucket manually at the beginning, and then we use Snowflake stages to upload to the Snowflake. This comes to the part with Snowflake connected with dbt Cloud, where we manage the transformation of the data. And this part will go to Tina with the dbt Cloud.
Thanks, Simon. I'm Tina. I'm going to talk about the parts about the Snowflake and the dbt Cloud. After we transfer all the data into Snowflake, we choose dbt Cloud as the data platform to handle the transformation. dbt Cloud creates the connection to Snowflake and runs the SQL against the warehouse to transform the data. Once we create the dbt Cloud account, we manually connect to dbt by filling the information onto the development credentials. In dbt Cloud, we configure the YAML file for sources and the materialized. Most of the work will focus on the model section. It's shaping the data from the raw data through to your final transform the data. We have separated our models into 3 levels: staging, intermediate, and marts. Each model is reusable for other downstream models. The staging is to store the light computation raw data, such as the rename the column, train the string, and all the transform the data are stored in the intermediate, including all the joins and the CTs. And the marts stores all the data that is ready to be visualized, which are all the fact tables. Can we change to next page, please? Yeah, we configure the test in dbt as well, run tests in development while use write SQL. The most brightest spot in dbt is the lineage graph. We use the ref function to connect the views and the tables. It clearly shows the dependency between all the models in in the documentation parts. Yeah, this in the graph, this is the deck for our project. I will hand over to next member.
Hi, I'm Jade, and I have take over the main part of the machine learning of our team to learn which customer would we purchase and which type of the product they would like to repurchase. I have used Snowflake for the data pre-processing part and AWS SageMaker for the machine learning part. In the data preparation part, I have created several predictors based on the raw data we have. And I have applied the linear regression for the machine learning. And the performance estimator finally, which is the F1 score, is 0.629. Next page, thank you. Then according to the prediction, we have predict which customer would like to place an order from our website again. With the purchase history of this customer, we could have some pop-up windows which contain their interest product to attract their attention. We got this output stored in S3 bucket, but we haven't further applied this data due to time limit. Thank you.
The next part is about the GitHub with version control. We have the Iedm machine learning folder for storing the SageMaker instance updated, and we have a dbt action to connect it with the dbt cloud to manage the version control of the dbt cloud. And we are having a Snowflake script, which is still updated manually right now, but we are thinking about having a chance to make it automatically GitHub to Git to the GitHub, and we are doing with the AWS Lambda function locally, so we can actually deploy with GitHub action, using GitHub action to deploy to the AWS, and it is still under construction. And the next part will be Tableau, and I will pass to Thomas. Thomas? Thomas, are you here?
Thomas 是哪个 ID？
我也不太知道他在这个里边是哪个 ID， 这里边 ID 太乱了。我们在微信群里在找他。
我看到 WYH 这个 ID 是 unmute， 但是我听不到你说话。
他说他麦
没声音。
麦没声音。
王浩宇，他叫王浩宇，王宇浩。
OK， 如果麦没声音的话，你可以去那个你的这个 Team 的 Device Setting， 对吧 ？Device Setting 上，你看一下你的 microphone 是不是连着的你的 headphone， 你可以尝试一下。如果不行的话，你也可以。可能可以麻烦一点，就是你打个电话给你的组长，然后放个免提，这样也可以。你先试一下那个 setting， 看能不能解决你这个问题。你可以在
给我打电话，稍微等我一下。
OK。
Hello， 你们现在能听到他说话吗？
你可以把他的话筒再离那个麦克风再稍微近一点，可以听到。 Hello，
现在能听清楚吗？
能听到你说话，但是我听不到他的声音。
稍等，现在能听见吗
OK， 现在可以了。把它离你话筒再稍微近一点，好像有点卡，是吧？你给他打电话了。
这个是微信电话，然后我这边会有回音，我尽力了。
能让他给你打那个就是微信电话，不是微信，就是那个 normal 那个电话，你把手机号发给他，这样打可能会更好。这个其他同学如果有什么问题的话，可以在 chat 里面说一下话，对吧？把你们的疑问对前面的PPT 呢有什么疑问的话，或者有什么想要请教的问题，都可以写在 chat 里。可以将就听得见。如果把话筒离你的那个麦克再近一点，更好一点。Hello。可以
我这儿
听到，
听得见，但是对，
可以听到，刚才可以听到。可以。喂 ，Hello。
你继续说。
听见吗？
听见。
对，
那我
继续。
好，first we connect Tableau with DBT because in DBT we have already filtered out the data we want to use. We made some graphics to reflect the relationship between different elements. For example, let's take a look at the two histograms on the right. We counted the number of times the product was purchased and select the top 10 products in sales. Similarly, we also counted the departments with the largest sales. Different colors are also used to distinguish different product categories and make the graphics easier to identify. More importantly, we can flexibly change the form and content of these charts according to different business needs to save time and actual costs. For decision makers, these charts can not only improve work efficiency, but also help them make reasonable plans and get more profits. This is my part. Let's move to the next part. Thank you.
This part goes to the DynamoDB. Since we want the client to get the result storing from a database, we choose DynamoDB to store our results, so it can be accessed in an extremely quick way. However, we didn't actually implement this part yet. And our next step include the business analysis features for the Tableau data visualization, because we only have 2 at the moment, and we are thinking about having the log management since we are not using Airflow, so we have to probably store the logs in the CloudWatch and monitor it later, and we have to think about fault tolerant analysis like availability zones and multi-regions to make it fault tolerant. And for CI/CD part, we still didn't get the AWS Lambda ready, and our DBT is still not working in a correct way to work schedulely. And for the scheduling development, our AWS Lambda is currently working on the event trigger base, not the scheduling trigger base with the event bridge. So a lot of updates need to be implemented. And that's all.